Hello, and thank you for listening to MSG. That's Movies with Sarah and Garrison. This week we're going to be talking about My Hero Academia, episodes 12 and 13. This is a two-parter, so if last week you haven't heard episodes 10 through 11, I recommend looking at that one and listening to it. There is a little bit of spoilers if you haven't seen it, so just be prepared for that. We absolutely love the show. I have definitely cheated and looked at more episodes than I should have, but it's because it's good and there's not a whole lot to watch right now on Hulu or Netflix for me anymore. So last week we kind of ended with All Might coming in and saving the day from this giant creature who had been biologically advanced. His name is Nomu. He kind of looks like a giant bird with muscles.
And a brain, like Mojo Jojo, kind of.
Yeah. And for some reason, he's wearing pants. I don't get that either.
Like pants with like skull knee pads or something.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
And, right, so we continue right after last week. All Might steps in, and, something that I noticed here, so this was like the first time that muscly All Might isn't smiling.
Yeah.
And usually, like what we've seen thus far is that big All Might is always smiling, and Small Might was so there's Tall Might and Small Might.
That's great.
Small Might was like, he has like a frown on his face.
Yeah.
So what I think is that All Might is like his public persona, right?
Right.
And his Small Might is like how he like really feels. So like his inner persona or his outer persona is reflecting his inner persona at this point. So there's no facade at this point. Like he's all business here.
Yeah. I always wondered why Small Might looked kind of mad all the time. Just not a very happy looking guy. He's kind of creepy. I wonder what kind of reasons the characters or the creators had behind this. Maybe there's some sort of, like we were discussing last episodes, some character flaws, maybe.
Yeah, there's the My Hero Academia movie coming out this year, and from what information I know, it's about an All Might in his prime. And what you notice in the teaser is that All Might's eyes, they're like normal eyes, with the white and the blue iris. So maybe the injury that he sustained had some sort of effect on him to where it's like draining him, and maybe that's why he doesn't smile, because it's like he's constantly in pain.
Ouch.
Yeah.
It's so depressing. Yeah, actually that makes a lot of sense though, because he's just not 100%. I gotta check out that trailer for the movie to see what it looks like. That sounds like fun. At episode 12, we see All Might come in. He's kind of faced with Nomu. He just takes over the fight with Aizawa. Midoriya, Sue, and Minata take Aizawa away to safety while All Might kind of battles with Nomu and the Hands guy.
Mm-hmm. And the Nomu creature is like super strong, like super fast.
Mm-hmm.
And Hands guy says that he's as strong as All Might, which seems to be true at this point. And also has shock absorption. So everything that All Might dishes out, he can take. So he's just getting more and more tired, and Nomu can fight on. But also, All Might performs a suplex on him, but the Vortex guy uses his power to like
Portal him.
Now, like the Nomu's like claws went right into All Might's injury.
Yeah, so he's seriously injured at this point. We should probably mention that in earlier episodes they briefed on how All Might had been battling certain enemies prior to this event the same day. So he was hidden away in the office so that he could recover from those battles. Number 13 had held up like 3 fingers at one point, kind of insinuating like he'd already done his 3 hours of work done, and he's still here battling. So I don't know where he's pulling it out of, but
I'm not sure if we mentioned this in previous episodes, but have you noticed All Might's injury looks like a flower?
I did not.
Yeah. I wonder what that's about. I don't think that's an accident. I think something to that.
Do you think something's gonna grow out of it?
No.
It's like a flower.
Yeah, I don't know. That's keep your that may be a good theory. I would hold on to it. But so the Nomu, injures All Might. He's bleeding. But luckily, some of the students come in. We have Kirishima and Todoroki and Bakugo.
Yeah.
Bakugo seems to have handled his own pretty well against the portal guy. Yeah, and he further evidence that Bakugo doesn't only leap in headfirst is that he noticed how the warp guy used his ability to like shroud his body.
Right. Just like
little brace thing.
Yeah, it's like metal brace surrounding what would probably be his head so he doesn't get injured. So he pins him down, basically threatens his life. There's another allusion to Bakugo being a villain at one point.
Because he's always saying like die and stuff.
He's being kind of a villain.
Yeah. When I first watched this a few months ago, like when it was coming out, I was sort of irked by him saying like die and all that stuff. But now I sort of look at it as like a teenager playing a video game, saying die and die, but
doesn't actually.
Yeah, he doesn't really mean it.
Right.
I don't think.
So it's just like a character personality trait.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, Todoroki freezes the Nomu and it breaks. But he has super regeneration. So not only is he super strong and fast, he can absorb attacks and recover from those attacks as well.
Yeah, ultimate enemy for All Might.
Yeah.
I don't know why Hands Guy's like, I'm just gonna speak out loud about Nomu's powers because it's my baby. So he's like super proud of Nomu. You can really tell. Oh, okay, so maybe we should talk about how Hands Guy is like freaking out all the time and like itching himself and kind of on drugs almost.
Right. Well, before I talk more about that, you said why is he saying this stuff?
Yeah.
Well, I think in episode 11 or maybe it was 10, Midoriya was talking about how All Might once said, if you're certain that you'll win, you'll make mistakes. So he's like so confident that he'll win. He's monologuing his victory and
before it even happens.
Right. So that probably explains that. But what did you say after that? Oh, right. Why is he scratching?
Yeah.
Even I don't know this. Maybe it's like a stress thing, but also it may have something to do how his power works. Right. So from what you know now, what would you say his power is, or like how he uses it?
So what I can tell, I don't think he's an absorber. I don't think he absorbs things. I think he like can kill things with his hands. Like got the power of death almost, or like generation if he touches a living thing. That's my take on it. I still feel like there's something else though. Like there's something we don't know about his quirks. Like I feel like that's just a small part of it. Because he rants on and on about like how he's a very powerful person and he's got all these abilities, but we don't really see it. He has a Nomu fight for him.
Well, I think, well, I can, like, do you want me to clarify this now? Because it's not really much more to it. I mean, you basically got it, but you just want, like, more
Yeah,
clarity.
yeah.
Decay is his power, so, like, when he puts all 5 fingers on something, it, like, rots away.
Okay.
So, maybe, like, he, like, scratches with, like, he doesn't use all 5 fingers to, like, scratch himself. So I'm not sure if his own power can hurt himself, but like, maybe that's like why he's like weird. But at the same time, if you noticed, he constantly references video games, and you kind of need all 5 fingers to, unless he's like really good where he can like not use one finger.
Right.
But yeah, so that's interesting.
I never caught on to that. Yeah. I don't know. He's a self-harmer.
Yeah, so his hands, what it seems, are just here. You know,
They're just for show.
Yeah, they don't really serve any purpose except for, you know, I guess giving a hint to his enemy of what his powers may be.
Okay. Because I was thinking like maybe he would like take them off and like throw them at people.
I think that's like way more lame than what it actually is.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, he's got a pretty cool one, but
except for not being able to touch things, because that's, do you know like Rogue from the X-Men?
Yeah.
Like how she touches things and people are like slowly dying.
To wear gloves.
Right, but he can't wear gloves because it'll just
disintegrate.
disintegrate.
Huh.
So that's definitely worse than Rogue. You can't really touch anything. You have to be very careful of what you touch and how you touch it.
I feel like masturbation would be really difficult if you couldn't do that.
Yeah, or like you, like wipe yourself with
with your finger.
Yeah.
Just use Garrison's method. Just use one finger.
Mm-hmm.
Stick it up your butt.
Oh man, so if you do that, you know, like, so say if he like used his whole hand to wipe himself, would he need to wash his hands? Like, would it just like get away? Right?
Like the tissue or the poop?
The poop, like, yeah, he just wiped himself with no tissue.
Imagine how gross that would be. Like your poop turns to dust in front of you, like in your hand. It might not be such a bad thing. Mm-hmm. Then like all the germs and stuff, like they're dead.
Interesting.
I want to know so many things about these characters. There's like a ton of characters, and they all have really interesting what seems like backstories.
Right, and like most, he would pretty much have to exclusively eat with like knives and spoons and stuff. Like he really couldn't eat large things with his hands, like a burger or something. Like,
right.
You'd have to like use one finger or use 4 fingers to like.
All right.
Spoons and forks.
Now I understand his plight. I understand why he's like hard on life.
Yeah.
Can't do anything.
And yeah, so yeah, continuing, the Nomu like regenerates, and we sort of learn Shigaraki. Shigaraki is the hand guy's name. We sort of learn his motivations. So he says was that he didn't like the idea of heroes using their power however they wanted, but then All Might says, you villains always have quote unquote noble reasons for your actions, but you really just want to do evil. And Shigaraki said, he's right. I do just want to do evil. He had this inner monologue, so he's pretty simplistic at this point. He just wants to like bad stuff.
Watch the world burn.
Yeah.
He's kind of the Joker. Excuse me. He's kind of the Joker of this storyline.
Yeah. He's pretty like but unlike the Joker, he's not really. He has like pretty weak motivations at this point. Pretty like simple and not really all that interesting at this point. But he's also surrounded by other people, like the Vortex guy, and the next episode, which will get to soon, that he has a boss, right?
Right.
So he's not even calling the shots. So he's someone's underling.
He mentions a dad at one point too.
Oh, he does. Oh,
Yeah.
forgot about that. Interesting.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. What?
Nothing. Nope. It off. Talk about it for later episodes.
Okay.
Because I have a theory.
Okay. You might forget, so do you want to say it now?
No.
All right. So wrapping this episode up, the villains, the Nomu, Kurogiri, the vortex guy, and Shigaraki, the hand guy, all swarm on All Might while he's weakened. But Midoriya leaps in, and
He almost gets killed.
that doesn't happen yet. Does it? Wait, did I miss something?
No, that's it.
No. In my notes, I have in the next episode, so we're not there yet. But Midoriya, right? So yeah, during this Nomu fight, this All Might and Nomu fight, I was thinking, wow, this is what Midoriya will turn into. Like, that's pretty incredible. And All Might finishes the enemy off with plus ultra.
Mm-hmm.
So he went beyond 100% and sent the Nomu out to like the stratosphere or whatever.
It was a beautiful scene.
He went through the clouds and did the Team Rocket twinkle.
Yeah, I liked watching the clouds disperse. They really did a good job kind of explaining how far he went. And can I say that All Might's catchphrases are just awesome? He's got such awesome catchphrases.
What do you mean?
Like, I can't even remember what exactly he said, but like, you must go ultra. He's got super cool. It's like all of his power.
Yeah.
110%.
And it seems that All Might is growing weaker because he said his prime, it would have only taken like 5 hits, but this time it took over 300 mighty blows.
Yes. But we kind of end episode 12 with Midoriya trying to save All Might some time, and he almost dies. Then episode 13 kind of shows up. Is that what it ends? Episode 13, we actually see some of the pro heroes show up, and
not quite yet, but leading up to that, we have All Might's weakened. He is turning. He's steaming out, so he's about to revert to his small Might form, and he's trying to bluff out the villains. And they're contemplating, should we still push or should we retreat? But luckily, right. So the villains, they're willing to take their chances and they swarm All Might. This is when Midoriya steps in, his legs, and then the Shigaraki, the hand guy, almost touches him. Luckily, right. That was pretty cool. Luckily, the pro heroes came in, shot him in his hand. That was cool. Actually, shot him several times.
Yeah, because towards the end of the episode, they kind of explained that he had been shot, like, once in both legs and once in both hands. So he got real hurt. And
yeah, so they bled. After that, they knew at that point they had no other options but to retreat. Yeah, so this is when we sort of briefly see some of the pros. There's that gun guy.
His name is Snipe. I'm looking at the list here.
So I wonder, is his quirk like infinite bullets or something?
I don't know. Like with the way the camera shots went, like was able to use his bullets, like refract them, like bend them around certain things, because he was able just to like pew pew and like shoot a bunch of villains. We also come into contact with ectoplasm, who can like
clone things.
Yeah. He kicks a bunch of his little enemy guys' butts. And then Cementos.
Cementos, yeah. The power of cement. Pretty interesting. But, it's pretty interesting. But it's not worth it if I have to look like that.
He looks like a Pokemon.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, you're joking, but there actually is a Pokemon that it looks like. Right. So villains flee. Cementos, and meanwhile we are in the villain's lair, and this is when we learn that there's a boss and that there's a bigger plan. He wanted to kill All Might there, but boss sort of has a more optimistic approach. Like he sees it as more knowledge, so that they can be more successful next time. And in a previous episode, there were only 4 people that knew of All Might's secret, right?
Right.
There's the recovery girl, the old lady. There was the mouse guy, your favorite.
Yeah, and then Midoriya, one of them.
There were like 4 people besides
Midoriya?
yeah. And there was that detective guy, remember?
Right.
And there was a guy shrouded in shadow, who we'll see later. But Cementos was there, right? Like he saw him, so that's interesting. Plot hole?
I don't know. Cementos seems like a solid guy.
I don't get it.
Yeah, coming back from that joke though, I probably wouldn't care. Well, Eraserhead knows too now. No, it doesn't know.
It doesn't know.
Okay.
But speaking of Eraserhead, he's recovering from his injuries, but the doctors are saying that he may not be able to recover for his quirk abilities for this, because he sustained some damage to his orbital floor, which is like the
underneath your eye.
Right. Yeah. So that's unfortunate. We'll see how that turns out. Or you'll see how that turns out, hopefully. And they found the Nomu. He was quite a ways away, and he wasn't moving. That's interesting. Now, do you have any thoughts on why he wasn't moving?
I don't. They said that he wasn't speaking, so maybe he is somehow mind manipulated. Maybe that's why his brain is like exposed.
Yeah, those are my thoughts. Like maybe he has to be controlled in some way, and since one was calling the shots, okay. Here's a theory.
No, I think I'm catching on to what you're throwing out. Here,
all right, so you're gonna be so embarrassed if, but so my theory is that Shigaraki, the hand guy, since he constantly references video games, like maybe he has some sort of, like, he's controlling them like a character. It's
way different than what I thought. No, my theory was that whoever is controlling Shigaraki might also be in control of Nomu. Like maybe their powers, their quirks are mind control on some level.
So who's ever calling the shots is controlling both of them?
Yeah. Maybe it's only within like a certain radius. So maybe the whoever is in charge of them was also in university. Dun dun dun.
Wait. Who? Oh, so you're saying like there's like a double agent?
Yeah.
Odd. Interesting. That's pretty much it for the episode. But did you catch the little thing after the credits? The guy standing in, like, the building.
No, I didn't see that.
Really?
I didn't stick around long enough to see that.
This is good. Then there will be surprises.
Oh no.
Any final thoughts on season 1?
I can see why they made 3 seasons of this show, or why they're continuing to make 3 seasons of this show. Makes me really want to read the manga. I usually do that.
And there's a video game coming out this year.
So there's a movie
and a video game. This is the new season, so this is a pretty big year for Hero. Watch it, guys, if you're not already, and if you are not, why are you listening to episodes 12 and 13?
I mean, that's fine if you are. That's cool. We endorse you. So, like, follow, share.
Tell your friends, tell your family, tell yourself to keep coming back. because there's, no such thing as not, you're not crazy if you talk to yourself, you're a completely rational, sane human being, with, dislike talking. So, if there's no one around, they want to talk to themselves. And if you happen to hear voices, you don't need any medication. Just, retain them and, carry on full conversations.
It's okay, Garrison. You can keep going if you want. I'm going to judge you for talking to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week for the beginning of season 2. Thank you.